Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ghost Glider. I am Matt. So today we are doing another review, and really I'm telling you guys whether or not you should watch this movie or not. This movie is Thunderbolts, and just like always I have spoiler free and then a spoiler version later at the end of the video. But first we're going to start off with spoiler free version, so anybody who wants to know whether or not they should watch it, get to know whether or not they should watch it. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Thunderbolts, in my opinion, is actually one of the best MCU projects to release in a long time. Probably since Endgame. The last movie to release in a while that was really good. Like, I liked Captain America, I liked Eternals, but this movie was like really, this was like an Avengers level movie. And I liked it. So, it was a team of anti-heroes, or past villains who are trying to do good. You have the Black Widow, Yelena. You have John Walker, ex-Captain America, now known as the U.S. agent. You have Ava, I think her name is Grimm. I could be saying that wrong. Who her name is the Ghost. Antonia, I forget her last name. Taskmaster. And Bob Reynolds, or Robert Reynolds, the Sentry, Alexei Shostakov, I don't know, I don't remember his last name off the top of my head, the Red Guardian, and Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier. Those are our band of misfits, and yeah, pretty much this is a movie about them trying to get redemption. Each of them, when we first see them, and actually throughout the movie, we see them as broken characters, fighting their insecurities, trying to be better, and the whole reason why they are the way they are is because they're trying to suppress all of that hatred and emotion with contract jobs or being hired assassins. However, it's different with Bob Reynolds, or you could just call him Bob. I like Bob. He was a test subject, and he just happened to stumble upon this girl. The movie is very heartwarming, and it has a really good message, and at the same time, it's probably one of the best MCU movies we've had in a long time. I've said that already. The main villain, the Void, it was a phenomenal villain that I've actually, my second watch, I watched it twice. My second watch, I realized they were teasing since the beginning of the movie. But yeah, the Void is a villain who feeds off of, depression and the anger that people have, and they use that against them, turning them into their own little shame rooms. It's a very heartwarming story, and my favorite character has to be Bob. I don't want to say how much I relate to him, because that's not 100% true. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not like full on depressed either, but something about Bob that really hit. And I can see that with a bunch of other people. And the chemistry that him and Yelena had was also pretty like, it was there. And I couldn't help but see it the whole time. And I think Kevin Feige was hinting at it. And yeah, at the end of the day, they did end up winning. And they were no longer known as the Thunderbolts. I would highly recommend this movie. If you're going to go buy it, go buy it. If you're going to go see it on Disney Plus, go watch it on Disney Plus. I would recommend doing one of those. This was, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10 movie. It's something I don't really think I do a lot of 10 out of 10s, but this was a 10 out of 10 movie. Good job, Marvel. And when I first heard about this movie, I thought it was just going to be like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It was going to be too jokey or anything, but this movie was the perfect amount of seriousness and jokes at the same time. Like, it was perfect. 10 out of 10. I highly recommend. Go watch it. Now for the spoiler version. Thunderbolts, also known as The New Avengers, is on Disney Plus, and you can go watch it now. It is about the team of misfits having to go on a last assignment due to Valentina DeFonte, and she hires them to go look separately. She hires them separately on the exact same mission at the exact same time to find out who's stealing assets and figure out what those assets are, and then take out the target. They're each other's targets without knowing, and they are going to be erased from history. Like, they're going to be like turned into they're walking inside of a trap. because Valentina doesn't want any more loose ends, and especially with her failing Sentry project, she, and with the government on her tail trying to impeach her, being the head of CIA, she needs to get rid of all loose ends. So she sends them to a specific black site to erase them all from history. However, the team, specifically minus Alexei and I guess Bob at first, get there. Ava, or the ghost, ends up killing Taskmaster. Taskmaster dies. She's there for like 2 seconds, says 2 words, and then dies. Yeah. They awaken Bob, who, again, test subject. They thought he was supposed to be dead. Test subject, he's awake. They end up escaping the incinerator, and they have to go through this whole thing. And they can 100% tell that they hate each other, and that they're each like they try and run solo. And then once they get out of the black site, they're surrounded by guards because Valentina realized that that's the only surviving test subject from Project Sentry, the project to create her own superheroes, because first off, she wants to run the world, and second off, the Avengers aren't coming to help anymore. So as they escape, or try to escape, Bob does a distraction, gets shot up, dies, comes back to life, flies into the air, passes out, and comes crashing back down. Because those test subjects, those tests that he was being run on for, they were giving him superpowers. They were, Valentina was creating her own super serum like Steve Rogers, and it did something different to him. The rest of the crew escape, and Bucky Barnes actually comes up to them and is like, "You guys are now my evidence to impeach Valentina," and kidnaps them. And then he gets a call from Valentina's assistant, and she's like, she's crazy. She has this weird project going on. I don't like it. You need to do something about it. And then he's like, okay, so maybe you guys aren't lying. And he ends up joining the Thunderbolts to go confront Valentina. Meanwhile, Valentina is now teaching Bob how to become a superhero, specifically a superhero called the Sentry. Think of him as the MCU's Superman. That's literally all you have to think about. Like, that's the best way to describe him. With more insecurities, though. Eventually, our crew gets there, and they get hammered by Sentry. Sentry does end up beating the crap out of them. They end up escaping. By the way, where Valentina is held up is the old Avengers Tower. I thought I'd like to mention that. They end up they get beat up, and Sentry is like, well, maybe I don't need to take orders from you after beating them up. And he's like, starts maybe thinking that Valentina is not the best person. He knew she wasn't the best person from the get-go, but he kind of figured maybe she isn't the best person, period. And even tries killing her, and then a kill switch goes off, and he dies, and then he comes back to life as the Void, the main villain. Yeah, and he pretty much makes all of New York his own little shadow shame room. Everybody in New York, shame room. Their own special shame room, going to their darkest memory. Including Peter Parker, probably. The Thunderbolts end up going into the shame room, confronting Bob, not in a bad way, consulting him, making him feel like he's wanted, which is the one thing he's always wanted, and they end up going back to that same lab that the movie started off in, where Bob got his powers, and Bob confronts the Sentry, and he starts beating him to a pulp. Bob beats, not Sentry, Void. He starts beating the Void to a pulp, which is exactly what the Void wanted, because that's making him more whole, and making the Void becoming Bob nothing but the Void. And the rest of the Thunderbolts team realizes this, and they knew that the power of a hug is the only thing that he needed, which is true. That's literally all it took to defeat the Void, was giving Bob a hug. They get out of the Void. New York is no longer a big shame room, and Bob doesn't remember anything at all. They go to confront Valentina, and she already has press waiting. And she announces that they are the new Avengers team. And then the credits start rolling, and it's nothing but headlines and stuff like that saying how this isn't the best idea, and no, we don't want these guys as the Avengers. And then the first end credit scene shows up, and it's Red Guardian, and he's trying to promote cereal brand with the new Avengers team on it, and he's like, that's me. That is me. And the second one is the Avengers, now in new like clothes and everything, which I absolutely love. And Bob's in the corner drinking a milkshake, says, I did the dishes. because he doesn't want to let the Sentry out, because if letting the Sentry out, he has to let the Void out, so he's just Bob. But the rest of the team has new gear, new everything, except for U.S. Agent. Kind of. U.S. Agent has the same suit. He has now a beret, and his shield is still a taco. And Sam Wilson is rebuilding the Avengers, and he's trying to fight for rights for the Avengers name. So there's literally a battle going on between the two Avengers team. But honestly, in my opinion, I believe that the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts team, should be the Avengers. And the fact that Sam Wilson is fighting them rather than joining forces with them shows how, I guess, not ready he is to lead the Avengers team. This Avengers team is full of heart, and it's people trying to do good because they know what bad feels like, versus heroes that know nothing but good, and they're being selfish about it. So in my opinion, I'm rooting for the new Avengers team, the Thunderbolts, to be the new Avengers. And then a spaceship from another dimension shows up, and like it quite literally says, dimensional flying object in orbit, and it turns out that it's the Fantastic Four from the new movie Fantastic Four First Steps, which I have not seen yet. So the next review will be that movie. Pretty exciting. I personally like Thunderbolts. So many theories. I really want the Thunderbolts team to be the new Avengers, but we're not going to see them again until Avengers Doomsday, which I'm so excited to see next year. How excited are you? I'm super excited about that. That makes me excited to watch both Fantastic Four and Doomsday at the same time, and I can't wait to see this conflict between the two teams, which apparently it's not going to be that grand because they start working together right out the get-go, especially with the cast photos we already saw. If you don't know what Doomsday is, it's going to be literally the new Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men versus Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr. Again, 10 out of 10 movie, I would highly recommend, and if you want me to do a theory video off of what I feel about it, let me know in the comments. Podcast episode coming out Wednesday and Saturday. We're going to try and catch up over the next 2 to 3 weeks by doing Wednesday and Saturday episodes. So just letting you guys know that now. Anyways, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's daily video. Let's try and get to 500 subscribers by the end of the week. Anyways, thank you guys again. Peace out.